Hey everyone, it's BraveHawk. Just wanted to put my 2 cents in for Sex Magic. I'm actually shooting this as a backup um, a video for someone that may or not get sick, or if someone uh, life is just piling up on them and they're not able to shoot a video. One of the hosts or hostess. Um, so because I know this week it's piling up on everyone and it's causing a bit of friction in everyone's life. So I wanted to shoot this video to hopefully someone will take me up on it and put it in their day to relax a little. If not, I might just go ahead and put it on Friday anyway. Um, so the topic is sex magic, and I feel that sex for this type of magic is a misleading term because it implies that you need a partner to do it. Um, Listening to yesterday's video, Dragon Wins, as she touched up on a really good topic that it's something I've always believed that just because it's called candle magic, or it's called sex magic, or it's called incense magic, tarot magic, whatever, the essential term there is magic, and you're just using objects to remind you your intentions, and essentially those objects are propaganda. They are telling you that when you do this, that will happen. Um, that, in a sense, is how you direct your magic. And I feel that sexual magic or sex magic is really misleading in the sense that you think that you need the other person. You think that you need another person to do it. And the reason I say that is because it's like the candles, it's like the incense, it's like any other type of magic. That other person is there to serve as an object or as a piece of propaganda, an idea to remind you that it is okay to release that energy. And I'm not saying that no strings attached sex is the way to go to do that, because there are implications to that, because I believe there are some people that believe that no strings attached sex, they can go there and just create this energy to fill a void, and then really there's no such thing as no strings attached, because there are always, your energy will always attach itself to something, to intimate moments or to objects. Um, how I explain that is like, I'm an art guy, so I'm gonna relate it to something art, and this is probably no surprise to anyone out there that knows me, but think of it as going to the Modern Art Museum, and no one explains to you what modern art is, and you go in there and you look at these things, and all you see is objects. You see a vacuum cleaner over here. You go down further, you see someone has stabbed the wall, and it has a piece of thread hanging down from the needle. And you go and look at all these weird things, and you're like, how the hell is that art? And then you walk out and you're confused. You're like, well, I wanted to go to the art museum, but all I saw was Bizarre Museum. I don't know what the fuck I just saw. And then you go home and you research it, and then you realize that modern art is about what the image represents. It's about what it means to you in a sense. What stimulus in your brain is activated when you see that. That is the art in itself. Um, so you go back and you look at this vacuum cleaner, and then you start to embrace what modern art is, and you take a moment and you're like, well, how does this object relate to me in my life? And you see the vacuum cleaner and you're like, I remember as a kid I used to always have to vacuum as one of my chores, and I hated it. So it's not really a negative emotion, but you realize that it needed to be done, or the house would have dirt all over the floor, and your mom wouldn't have liked that, and she would have slapped you silly. And so you're like, it's a necessary evil. Um, and then while you're looking at that, there's a guy that walks up next to you, and he's an older gentleman. Say he's like 70 or 80 years old, and he looks at it, and he starts to recall his wife, because his wife would used to always vacuum the house and clean. So when he came home at the end of the day, he could relax. So he has a very relaxing, intimate moment with that object. And then in walks a mother with her 3-year-old child. Now the mother starts to walk up, and the kid looks over and sees the vacuum cleaner, and then he runs off, scared, screaming, because he's afraid of that vacuum cleaner. And the reason he's afraid of that vacuum cleaner is because as a kid, as a younger kid anyway, younger than he is, his older brother used to chase him around the house with a vacuum cleaner. So when he looks at a vacuum cleaner, he sees this loud piece of machinery that makes a scary noise, and it's chasing him around the house. So he is completely he's in fear of that object. And that is kind of how I relate, sexual or sexuality magic to people. You're essentially using the other person as an anchor, as a moment, as a in a sense, a commodity to bring up that energy inside you. You're essentially saying it's okay for my male and my female energy to merge and make this magic. And as I make this magic, I am directing with my intent that this is what this magic is going to do. And in that particular instance, a moment is made between you and that other person, and you will always be connected in a sense magically. You can't go throughout life not having some kind of an anchor, some kind of moment that where you connect to things to the point where when you move on, it hasn't moved on. In other words, how I kind of want to relate it to is, think of it as a tree, and below the ground, are roots. For each moment you create a root. And that root will always have a connection to the trunk of the tree, whether you want it or not. Our energy, our magic, our soul, whatever you want to call it, however you want to, label things, we are certainly made up of our experiences in life. We are certainly made up of these connections. These moments echo and haunt us in a sense. And so these moments will always be there. They will always serve as a root. They will always serve as an anchor. There will always be a connection. Can you get rid of these connections? I'm not sure. There are certain meditations that allow you to alleviate some of the pain that it causes. Alleviate if it's a painful root, maybe you've had a relationship where the sex was really good, but the relationship wasn't. And every time you recall those sexual moments, you recall the relationship, and it kind of gives you a certain echo of negativity. It starts to bleed in your life. You start to think that that's what sex is. You know, it's this negative thing in your life, and it starts to echo in your life. You start to have negative things happen to you because that's what you tapped into. There are certain meditations that kind of work with your emotions. One of the meditations, or one of the style of meditations rather, are the Burmese style of meditation, and it's unlike the Hindu style, the Hindu style, where it's all visualizations. With the Burmese, it's all about your emotions and the things that you consider yourself connected to. The people that are in your life, the people that were in your life. It's all about finding your anchor and essentially making a positive out of a negative. So if you find yourself you have a lot of roots in your life, a lot of these anchors, these connections that have these negative connotations, that might be a style that you want to look into, because no one should feel that, intimate moments, whether it be sex or any type of relationship like that it should not haunt you forever. You should be able to grow from that. You should be able to take that moment, that raw moment, and realize that better things could happen. I wanted to say other things, but I can't remember now. Maybe I just went completely down the rabbit hole and went off topic, but if I did, it is what it is. Let's see what else. I have notes here. Hell, let's look at them. Okay, I wrote down like this story that I heard, and I kind of wanted to bring it up, and maybe it connects, maybe it doesn't. It seems to be going through Facebook. Maybe it's an old thing, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just late to the party. But it's a story about a woman who grew up in a household that said that basically they're raised by the Bible, saying that you have to keep yourself pure until your marriage day. And she did that, and in a sense, her identity was the virgin. Her identity was that she was pure in that sense, and she attached everything in her life to that title, that I'm a virgin, I'm pure, and I'm saving it until the day I get married. And in the story that she was telling, that the day she got married, she had sex because she knew that's what people do on their marriage day. And instead of having, a wonderful moment, no one, told her essentially the emotions you go through when you have sex. And she spent the night crying in her bathroom because she felt that she had lost her identity. And I feel that, this kind of connects in a sense that we attach ourselves to certain ideas, certain emotions, certain things in our life, and we have these intimate relationships with them. And then when we lose them, we don't know what to do. And I thought that was, in a sense, a beautiful story, but a horrible story. But it kind of teaches us the lesson that, there are things in your past, intimate moments, that kind of haunt you in a sense, and this didn't actually haunt her. This caused her more pain because she attached herself to a title that she was very intimate with. That title, she was the Virgin. You know, everyone knew her as the Virgin that would save her herself. All her friends, everyone knew her as the Virgin. And she lost her virginity, so she felt she lost herself. And in a sense, how I relate that to sexual magic, she wasn't comfortable with her energy inside herself to label herself as anything else but as that thing, that title, the Virgin. She didn't use the other person as an object or as an entity or as that special someone to kind of remind her that it's okay to feel that way. It's okay that to allow yourself to be free and let your energy flow in that way. And and it's not a dirty feeling, you know, because that's what she was saying in her post, that she was crying in the bathroom because she felt very dirty. Um, so be careful how you raise your kids, or you talk to other people, because people will always be influenced by you whether they know it or not. There are certain aspects of your brain that holds pretty much everything, and you will recall that in some way, shape, or form and bring it into your life. Um, so that's kind of why I brought that up. If especially for the people that have kids. Um, yeah, sex is very sacred. Sex is very great. You know, it's a wonderful thing, and you have to remember that we have to prepare ourselves to go into that endeavor. It just not all of us can go into it and allow it just to happen, because it's sort of like sweating. I know this is like a weird way to say it, but our body can't sweat unless we relax. It can't perspire until those muscles relax to allow the water to go through and perspire. And it's the same way with with sex. You can't have this intimate moment, this moment with someone else or with yourself until you relax. And I think that's kind of where I was going, um, as far as the topic, that to have an intimate moment with anyone, to have quote unquote sex magic with someone, whether it be you yourself doing it, in the privacy in your home to release that magic, or with someone else, there is a certain relaxation that you have to have. You have to be comfortable with yourself to allow those energies to mix together to create the byproduct that you want, whatever your intent is, however you want to use that energy. Um, I think that was pretty much it where I was going for my video. Um, I do have a couple other things written down, and one of them being is, when people think sex magic, they kind of recall incubus and the succubus, and that in a sense is more astral work, because they are astral beings. And when they say you can do sex magic by yourself, when I talk about that, some people do go into an astral sense and call up beings to have these specific intimate moments with, whether it to be release excess energy or to get energy from them, either to pass on information or to get information from them. That's a topic I'm not really going to go into, because I feel that that's something you should do research on before you go into that area of expertise. I think that's all I was going to say on the topic. I do have another thing that I wrote down, and it kind of relates to the visualization that I had, as far as the the tree and the roots. You know, you have this certain relationship with people around you, and the certain, you know, the intimacy that you have with these people, that creates a root. Um, there's something called the resonant note. Um, it's like the Akashic files, but it's not. The Akashic files deal more with ancestors, more with locked knowledge, in a sense, of past, present, and future lives, as well as other beings and whatnot. It's like that, in a sense, that we all can tap into it. It's a matter of whether we go there. There's also another thing that's called the resonant note, and I actually wrote a book on it. It's called the resonant note, and it essentially talked about how when someone has an idea, it can just get passed on through energy. And the reason I kind of bring this up is because, you know, there are certain cultures that are very sexual, or have a high sexuality, in a sense, like Latin people. You look at people that are from Latin America, and they have this aura about them. It's just, they are steeped in sexuality. And that's why I call it sexuality magic, because that in a sense shows you what you can do with it. You can use that, put it in your aura, and it just, everyone around you is struck by your sexuality. They're just like, wow, that's a very sexual, beautiful person right there. And I think that's what a lot of people are unknowingly starting to do these days. They're starting to become more comfortable with themselves, and to be more knowledgeable on how to use that energy and their aura. Um, and I say that in the sense that, you know, the resonant note is, they liken it to, they kind of explain it in this way. You know, say there are two islands, and they are, you know, far apart from each other, but yet close. They just have an ocean to them. You can look out, and maybe on the horizon you can see a little sliver of it. And there are these two islands, and there's a monkey on each island, and they both have, you know, a coconut tree. And the monkeys are starving. They don't know what to do, and they're just sitting there, and they're like, well, what do I do? I'm starving. And then one monkey decides to climb up the tree and smash the coconut and drink it for nutrients. All of a sudden, the other monkey starts to do that. And they say that there's a string between everyone, that we essentially pass our thoughts to people. And I think I'm completely off topic here, I guess, but I'm going with it. You know, that's how it is with sexuality, I think. I think people just have to be really free with themselves, and create an intimate moment with themselves before they can actually have a partner. And I think that's what my gist of this video was supposed to be, but apparently I'm seeing like it's already at 24 minutes, so I've been rambling, or maybe I haven't, but that was the gist of my video, that you could do, you know, this by yourself, and if you choose to bring a partner in, make sure that you're very comfortable with yourself, because you don't want to affect a partner in a negative way, because you, in a sense, you create these bonds that go on forever. You might be not, you know, not in their physical presence anymore, but there's something that will always connect you. And that's kind of how I was bringing up the resonant note, that things get passed on down the line, you know, whether it be a negative or positive emotions, they tend to echo and haunt you, in a sense. And that's what I was trying to touch upon. Hopefully I didn't bore anyone. Anyways, here's my video, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye.